Hello everyone, this is Mr. Reimer. This video is a reteach of our first unit writing assignment in world history. I have placed here the prompt and then 4 examples. So let's review the prompt. I asked you to, in a fully developed body paragraph, use the world history course themes to compare 2 of the early civilizations that developed in the period before 600 BCE. Now, before I read the examples and analyze them, let's go back to our rubric because I want us to get really familiar with this rubric. We will use it all year. Remember, I said I'm not scoring you on thesis or contextualization. I haven't taught them to you yet. I was looking for your use of evidence. So you could get 1 point for providing specific historical examples of evidence relevant to the topic of the prompt. In other words, if you told me some information about one of or 2 of those civilizations and it was accurate and specific, you got the point. Now, you could get another point if you supported an argument with that evidence. In other words, you had a topic sentence and then your evidence supported that topic sentence. It's like when you're building a house, right? It's not a complete house unless it's got the foundation and the 4 walls and the roof and the interior walls and the appliances, all that stuff, right? Now, is it like kind of a house? Do we still call it a house even though it's partially done? Yeah, right? So like having some walls up, yeah, that's like having some evidence. Having the foundation plus the walls up, well, now we're talking about relevant evidence with supporting evidence. Okay, so we're that helps. We're kind of building a house this year. We're putting all these pieces together in order to craft an excellent historical argument in an essay. All right, the third point could come from using your reasoning skills, and the skill we were focusing on this unit and in this assignment was comparison. So if you used the comparison structure to frame your argument, and I gave you that frame in my model paragraph, and a few of you used it quite well. So let's take a look at the 3. So remember, 0 to 6, but I was only looking for 3 specific points. So the highest number of points you could have gotten on this essay was 3 points. So this is what the student said: ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, those are the 2 civilizations, were similar in the area of economic systems, theme, but different in the area of cultural development, second theme. Excellent topic sentence. Both ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt used regional and trans-regional trade with Egypt and Indus. Is that factual and specific? Yes. Is it related to the topic sentence about economic systems? Yes. In ancient Mesopotamia, they grew barley and wheat, and in ancient Egypt, they grew barley and wheat. Again, specific historical evidence? Yes. Related to the theme of economic systems? Yes. Excellent start so far. However, and here's that comparison structure. However, these 2 civilizations differed because ancient Mesopotamia had powerful and unstable gods, specific, factual, yes, while ancient Egypt had kind gods, afterlife, and pyramids. Here, grammar, not so good, but I'm looking more for those 3 things: supporting evidence, specific evidence, and then reasoning. Okay, it's here. It's really good. Therefore, ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt were similar in some ways, but different in other ways. This person got all 3 points for the reasons I've just explained. All right, let's look at an essay that got 2 points, and let's see where they missed the point. So, ancient Sumer and ancient Egypt were similar in the area of economic systems. Okay, so again, like the previous one, 2 categories: Sumer, Egypt, theme, economic system, but different in the area of technology. It's a great start. Excellent topic sentence. Both ancient Sumer and ancient Egypt grew barley and raised animals like goats, donkeys. Factual, specific, yes. However, these 2 civilizations differed because ancient Sumer while they had the invention of the wheel and they had discovered the bronze and they created the solar calendar for years and the lunar calendar for months. So here, run-on sentence, and the student is just telling me information about ancient Sumer, not comparing. It's just giving me information. So this is not using that skill of comparison. Ancient Egypt, they were really advanced in the math, and they had turned days into 24 hours and years into 365 days. Therefore, ancient Sumer and ancient Egypt were similar in some ways, but different in others. So this person, great specific historical evidence, got a point. Did they use it to support an argument? Yes, right? Similar in the area of economic systems, that is supported with their evidence about what they grew, and different in the area of technology. It does talk about technology, but the comparison is missing. This is an example of how a lot of students, when they write a comparison essay, they just talk about the two different things without ever having those two things sort of interact with each other in the essay. And that's where using that frame, that model I gave you, would have helped the student in getting that third point. All right, on to the essay that got only 1 point. Ancient Sumer and ancient Egypt were similar in the area of they both had writings. Not a theme, but related to the theme. But different in the area of how women's rights were. Again, not a theme, but related to this theme. Related to the theme. Here's an example of giving evidence in your topic sentence. Because if you give evidence in your topic sentence, what do you have to write about? You've already given your evidence. They both had writings, and they differ in the area of women's rights. I mean, that's too detailed for a topic sentence. That's why the themes really should be in a topic sentence. Both ancient Egypt and ancient Sumer did, used, again, those were suggestions. I wanted you to pick one. Different tools they made. It's vague. And how is it related to writings? I don't see a connection. In ancient Sumer, they didn't believe in an afterlife. True. But how is it related to the idea of women's rights? And in ancient Egypt, they did believe in afterlife. Okay, so here's a comparison, but sort of not supporting anything, not connected to the topic sentence. However, these two civilizations differed because ancient Sumer did not believe in gods as much, while ancient Egypt did use to have a strong belief in gods. Not really true. They both strongly believed in gods, just different kinds of gods. Therefore, ancient Sumer and ancient Egypt were similar in some ways, but different in others. So they got 1 point for using some specific evidence related to the prompt. The prompt is about early civilizations. So the student gave me some information about beliefs in afterlives and differed, in women's rights and had writings. All of that only earned the student 1 point. No point for supporting an argument. There's not really an argument being made. And no point for using the skill of comparison. All right, on to our final example. Ancient China and the Shang dynasty were similar in the area of how they ruled what was theirs by none other than the aristocracy system, but different in the area of resources. So I felt bad for the student because here's an example of misreading the prompt and answering a different question. I didn't ask you to compare dynasties within a civilization. I asked you to compare two different civilizations. And so when you answer a different question and when your response is not related at all to the prompt, I can't give you any points. It happens and I don't like to do it, but I can't stress enough how important it is to read the prompt carefully and answer the question you're being asked. All right. The student had a lot of good things to say about China. Obviously, the student knew a lot about China. China was more on the trade side along with the merchant side as well. China was known for making or welding swords, farming tools, etc. Both China and the ancient Shang dynasty were known for the use of servants or slaves during the BCE period. Not quite accurate. In ancient China, they did trade many things often and raise chickens or make products such as silk or cloth silk, yes. In the ancient Shang dynasty, they farmed many things like wheat, for example. Not true. They didn't farm wheat or barley or sugarcane. No. That was in the Indus Valley. So maybe the student was mixing up the Shang with the Indus Valley. I don't know. However, these two civilizations differ because ancient China used different laws, while the ancient Shang dynasty used a more harsh, and I guess you can say a flash type of law system. I'm not sure what the student is talking about here. Therefore, the ancient Shang dynasty and ancient China were similar in some ways, but different in others. So the student answered the wrong question, or perhaps had so many mix-ups that it looked like they were answering the wrong question. So 0 points. But if you were that student, or you were a student that did only earn 0 or 1 points, and you got like a 50 or a 60 in the Google Classroom gradebook, take heart. That is not the grade I put in focus. Remember, this class is all about growth. So what I wanted to see in this writing assignment was an improvement over your writings on the DOLs. So what I did is I averaged your 3 DOLs, and I did that for everybody. It took a little bit of time. I averaged your scores, and then I compared that number to the number you got on this writing assignment. And if you're wondering how did 3 points become such and such number, I used back to our rubric this scale, this range. So 0 points you see here only get you a 50. Now 1 point will get you between 60 and 53, 2 points between 68 and 61, and 3 points between 76 and 69. Why the range? Not every 3 is the same. Not every 2 is the same. Some 2s have better evidence, better writing. Some 3s have better reasoning. And so I give myself a little bit of subjective scoring there. So, but that's not the grade I put in the gradebook, right? So if you were the student who scored, this 1, and let's say I put in the gradebook like a 55. I put in the Google Classroom gradebook a 55. And then I looked at your DOL average, and it was like a 60. Guess what I put in the gradebook? In focus, I put a 100. Why? You got better. You improved. That is what this class is all about. Getting better and improving your reading, writing, and thinking skills. So, take heart. If you're not a great writer yet, most of you aren't. Most students in 10th grade aren't. Right? You haven't been taught how to write well. That's my job. I am going to help you. I'm going to teach you how to write well and to think like a historian, use our historical thinking skills. Right? I promise I will get you there. It's going to take all year, and it's going to take a lot of work from you and from me. Right? But I promise you, I can help you if you will listen, follow my instructions, and you put in the work. You put in the effort. All right. If you did not get better and your score went down on this writing assignment, you can redo it. Right? Send me an email, and then I'll say, yes, of course you can redo it. Rewrite your essay, answer the same question, and I will score that new score. All right. I will see you in class, and keep up the good work.